What's going on, guys? My name is Eldeniro and welcome to another episode of my Leicester City career mode. We're on episode 40 something at this stage and it's just ridiculous that we've gotten this far in just a month. I don't even know how, what it is about this game that I'm getting through the episode so much quicker than last time, but we're starting this episode off with a game away from home in Russia against CSKA Moscow, and this is always a difficult place for teams to come in the Champions League, as you saw from Manchester City recently went there and only got a 2-2 draw despite being 2-0 up. And it's just, the Russian teams, obviously, they have to have the fixtures on earlier because of the winter over there, and it's kind of an intimidating place to go and stuff. And I thought this would be a difficult game, even though none of those things come into account because it's FIFA. But I have a question for you guys at the start of this episode, and it is quite simply, who is your current favourite active manager in world football? Because I was trying to think about this myself, and I honestly don't even know anymore who my favourite manager is. Probably like someone like Roberto Martinez or maybe Pep Guardiola, but I don't really know why. Nobody really stands out for me anymore, I guess, because I feel like I've seen it all, but I don't know, it's weird. I would be interested in your opinions. But as you can see, in the first half, it's mostly CSKA. They're completely bossing the game at this point, and we're playing on the counter-attack, trying to get some kind of a break going forward. But Zoran Tosic plays the ball into Eremenko, who finds Bibras Natko in the centre, inside the box in the 44th minute, but his shot was dragged wide. And then we come into the second half, and we didn't have a shot on target yet in the entire game, and I decided to remedy that immediately in the second half with Koyate coming forward, and his shot was so tame, and it was saved so lamely by the goalkeeper. I think had it fallen to Ki Sung-young or Gary Gardner in midfield, it probably would have found the back of the net. But we come up to the 66th minute with Berahino taking the ball down the right hand side of the pitch, and he goes up against Beretsutsky. He takes it round him pretty well and gets into the box ahead of the other Beretsutsky. I think they're both brothers, or maybe there's only one of them playing, I don't know, but there's Alexei and something else, isn't there? I don't know. But Berahino scores for us in the 68th minute, and I was amazed with how easily he got round those defenders with just the basic dribbling, because it's so hard to do that in this game. I find that the opposition makes perfect interceptions most of the time, but then the odd time you get a lucky break like I did with Berahino just there. But in the 70th minute, Eremenko came into the box and almost scored, but for a great save from Kasper Schmeichel, because he rushed the CSKA midfielder, and that's what got him really. But in the 77th minute, we went into a counter-attack with Zaha leading the line. He has Berahino ahead of him, and you can see from the way that CSKA are lined up here that they're playing on an ultra-attacking kind of a mentality. But the ball gets fed into Maicon Leite, who has Zaha in the centre, and the man who started off the move finishes it to make it 2-0 in the 79th minute with just 10 minutes to go, and that's an awesome goal. A very crucial one too, because CSKA were pushing forward, like I say, and it's just important to get those counter-attack goals. But this moment here, from a basic throw out to Jeffrey Schlupp, who plays the ball into Scott Sinclair, who just bombs forward and scores one of the most basic goals I've scored in the entire series so far, I think. I never expected to score a goal that easily in the Champions League, especially when it wasn't even from a counter-attack, but that's what happens. This is when I have the most fun in this game, by the way, is when teams are bombing forward, everybody's forward, and then I get the break, and I have players like Sinclair who crosses it into Jeffrey Schlupp, who makes it 4-0 to us in the 90th minute. And that's just the most fun part of FIFA for me, is catching teams out like that and getting them on the break. But we end that game in Moscow with an emphatic 4-0 victory over superior opposition. And who are all those people who said that my signings weren't good enough for the Champions League? 9 points from 3 games in a group that includes Bayern Munich, AC Milan and CSKA Moscow. That is absolutely unbelievable. When I asked you guys to predict where I'd come in the group, I honestly thought that I would still be never getting European football even after Christmas. I thought Europa League I'd be very lucky to do. I will always call that the UEFA Cup. It's just one of those things. But our next game is against Aston Villa, and this is how our team lineup looks like. We've got Tom Ince back from injury in there, Berahino and Sinclair up front, and the Villa team has Benteke, Vyman and Nzogbia in it. And that Carlos Sanchez guy anchoring the defence there, or in midfield, he is incredible in this game. I don't know what it is. He's just one of those players who's incredibly well-rounded. He's got good technical ability and good strength, and he's maybe a player that I should have probably signed at some point, because I'd say he's probably a poor man's Tom Huddlestone, that kind of player. But we come up to the 11th minute. We were on some kind of an attack, and Villa sort of took the opportunity to go into a counter here with Delph playing it to Westwood. He looks up and finds Benteke, who has Nzogbia on the left hand side. Now Nzogbia's cross finds Vyman, who heads it in at the near post, and the reason for that goal was because we had Andrew Robertson on the ball running towards the box. He's a left back who was playing pretty much in an attacking midfield position, and Zaha was off the pitch injured. So with Robertson out of position and no Zaha, there was no opportunity for somebody to go back and cover the defence. So that man Vyman got in the middle and nobody was marking him. But we got a free kick in the 37th minute or so as Ki Sung-yong heads it down to Koyate, who goes for the shot. It's saved by the keeper and then bundled into the back of the net by Maikon Leite, who didn't start the game. He came on as a substitute to replace Wilfried Zaha, who picked up an injury, like I said. I don't have the footage of it. It was just an injury that he randomly seemed to accrue. I don't know when it happened in the game, but he got taken off around 20 minutes and on came Maikon Leite, who obviously scored and equalised for us. But we come up to around just before the hour mark with Villa putting some heavy pressure on us with Vyman on the ball. He does really well to get a shooting position, and I really wish Schmeichel would just hold the ball sometimes, because it's incredibly frustrating when you concede corner kicks. And Charles Nzogbia stands over the corner, he swings it outwards, it goes in towards Benteke, and it's Koyate who ends up bundling it into the back of the net. And it's an own goal that puts Villa in front, and it was really frustrating. But it's not a stupid FIFA goal, I don't think. He was going up to header it, and Benteke changed the trajectory of the ball. And then obviously Koyate was just in no position to do anything about it. It hit off his shoulder and went in. But we responded almost immediately with Sinclair hitting off the crossbar, and I think that's a good response, to get immediately back up the pitch, show that you're going to attack the other team and not let them come forward. But Villa had pretty much seized control of the game beyond the hour mark, and we couldn't get anything going forward with them, even on the counter-attack. And as you see here in the 84th minute, they were going on the time-wasting tactic with Benteke in the corner, which is ridiculously difficult to defend sometimes, by the way. But as you saw, John Stones actually picked up a knock at some point in the game as well, and Benteke throws this ball towards Brian Ruiz, who heads it on to Nzogbia, who goes for the amazing shot, but it hits off the crossbar and gets bounced over. Then in the 87th minute, Brian Ruiz went in and fouled one of our players. I think it was Gary Gardner, and he ends up getting a red card for it. It was his second bookable offence of the game, and it was just something to make the last few minutes of the game a little bit more tense than they already were. It was on Ki Sung-yong, but sadly it didn't matter. We end up losing to Aston Villa, and I think that's only our first home defeat of the season, isn't it? I think it is, but anyway, Zaha is out for 3 weeks as a result of the knock that he picked up in that game, which is a real disappointment because he's been playing out of his skin lately. And John Stones is going to be out for 5 days, which isn't too much of a big deal because our next game is actually 6 days from now against Arsenal. And Luca Ante says that he's homesick and he wants to leave the club, which is a bit of a blow to us because he's actually been playing really well and his value has gone up an awful lot as well. It may be a blessing in disguise because it means we can sell him for a profit and potentially go and sign a new centre back in place of him, but it's not going to be a good journey from now to January with a player who's unhappy playing in defence. And he does start in this game because Koyate is in midfield, so Ante and Moore play in defence. No John Stones in this game. I decided to rest him just in case. And if the lineup looks a little bit weak with the likes of Leite and Schlupp up front instead of Berahino, it's because of the fact that we're playing against Bayern Munich in 3 days time after this game. In fact, yeah, this game is on a Sunday and the Bayern game is on the Wednesday, and then we have Chelsea after that, so that's going to be incredibly difficult. But Arsenal are a team who are in form now in this game, and after 21 minutes Welbeck missed a chance, but we came forward in the 34th minute with Jeffrey Schlupp getting in on goal. Unfortunately his right footed shot was dragged wide, but I think had he gotten the opportunity with his left he would have done a lot better there. Then we come up to the 38th minute with Knockaert on the ball taking on Nacho Monreal. He does really well to get into a scoring position and his shot gets saved by the goalkeeper. I find it really difficult in this game to have those shots where you come down with say a left-footed right winger and then cut inside and then go for the shot, because the defenders always seem to get across there and block those before they do get hit on target or whatever, and it's really, really hard. But inside the second half, Arsenal were really pushing forward in this game in the rain, just looking for this pass and movement, and there's nothing I can do whenever teams do that. And Flamini ends up scoring for them in the 47th minute, and it was genuinely quite annoying. I hate when I keep dragging players out of position, and I know that I'm doing the wrong things, but I have to do it anyway just because of the frustration of watching another team hold on to the ball so much. But in the 59th minute, Welbeck missed that chance as it was saved by Kasper Schmeichel. And then we come to the final 10 minutes of the game with Boyata coming down the right hand side. He has options in the middle. He goes for the cross. It eventually finds Berahino, but it was kind of terrible, and it's cleared away by the Arsenal defence. Then I switch to all-out attack at this point. It comes to Fofana on the edge of the box. He plays it into Maicon Leite, whose shot is so close to giving us the equaliser in front of the away fans, but sadly it wasn't to be. Then we come up to the 87th minute with Boyata's cross finding Moore at the far post. It eventually comes to Koyate, whose volley gets blocked and cleared by the Arsenal defence, and that's how the game ends. Our second consecutive defeat in the league, and I don't think that's ever happened. Well, no, it's definitely happened. We've definitely lost 2 games in a row, but not since Season 2, I don't think. So that's incredibly frustrating for us. Hopefully we can bounce back though, even though our schedule for the next while is very difficult. We're away to Bayern Munich next. Then we're going to be playing against Chelsea in the league. Then we've got QPR, I think, then AC Milan, and then Manchester United. So I'm looking forward to those games. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to them as well, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the series so far. If you are, please do leave a like. That would be much appreciated. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.